Hello and welcome to another video. This is the Unbathtub. We have a game here called Little Orpheus. I'll have a quick read through on Steam for you. This definitive edition of the multiple award-winning hit by master storytellers The Chinese Room is remastered for the big screen and includes all bonus content of the original. A hero will emerge. This was only released a few days ago, so 13th September, so quite a new game. I've never actually heard of it before, so it said remastered and original, but never come across it, and I've not bothered to do any research into the original, so I thought I'd just give this a go. So you start the game, and it's quite a quirky little thing, really. The storyline is fairly unique, I would say. It's about you being discovered, and I'm not sure in what context, but you being discovered after a couple of years, after being sent on a mission to the center of the Earth in this drill with an atomic device by the Soviets. You've disappeared, presumably. They believe you've either stolen the device or you've died or something, but you've re-emerged and you're telling your story to the general of this Russian army or KGB or something, and you're just literally talking him through everything that you've seen in this underworld. And in this underworld, you walk through what you've done in real time. So you're like reliving the memories of what you're telling this general. So you're going through these really cool environments. There's dinosaur environments, there's ice environments, desert environments. You go inside of a whale underwater. There's surreal sort of temple, abandoned, ruined environments with anti-gravity rocks and platforms flying around. It is essentially a platformer, so you are left and right, using just A and D really. A space is jump. You got control as interact with objects, and shift as slide or crouch. They are all customizable, which is fine. But that's what I played as. In terms of complexity, it's super easy. So there's no real challenge to it. The only thing you might find is you might die a couple of times if you misstep into maybe one of the enemy's sights and they'll just freeze you, or on the first level I did get eaten by the dinosaur a couple of times, but after you work out what the bad guy is going to do, then you're absolutely fine. It's super enjoyable though, despite not being particularly difficult. It's got a really quirky little storyline. The voice acting is, I would say, on the whole, quite good. Your main character, I couldn't be sure if he was putting on a Russian accent or a Scottish accent at some point, but all the same, really funny dialogue, and yeah, it just pieces everything together with this really cool, unusual story. No real complaints at all. And visually, really, really nice. Colours are excellent, textures are excellent, and it just sets you in the scene really, really, really well. Can't fault that in the slightest. A couple of things that are a bit of a letdown for me is that after you complete a level, there is hidden content that you can go and unlock, including the extra outfits. I've only unlocked one by going back into a previous level, but you can't unlock them the first time, so you have to complete the level, then you have to go back and play the level again, and then you can pick up these bonus content items. I'd rather just be able to do that on my first go. I don't want to be going back and doing the same thing, because each level, I have repeated a couple of the levels, do not vary. So there's no alternative path that you can take, so to speak. So you can't vary it up. So they should have maybe just let you get the bonus content straight away. Another thing is you can't run, and for me, a little bit annoying. It lets you run in certain places, and it's just entirely determined by the game. So if it wants you to run in a certain area, or wants you to creep in a certain area, then you can. You are in control of sliding and crawling, but apart from that, it's determined by the game. Your character is massively injury prone. He spends most of his time falling into holes, and then he limps quite regularly as well. But he soon runs it off. It's funny because at the beginning of quite a lot of the levels, he's limping around, and then all of a sudden he'll start to run again, or he's limping and he'll jump or do something, and then he'll start limping again. So his injuries are either slightly dramatized, or they've not quite thought through continuation or consistency of an injury, but it is quite amusing. Perhaps as well a lack of variation of enemies to kill, but for me it doesn't matter too much. But the bosses do vary, but generally during the levels themselves there's no bad guys, so to speak. It's more about just going through the story, which is fine, but don't expect constant enemies pinging up at you every now and again. It's just not what it's about. In some senses, the game does tell you what buttons to press at certain times, which I find a bit annoying. I'd like to be in full control of the game. But in other times, it does let you make your own mind up, so it's a bit 50-50 in that front. But all the same, it doesn't really detract from such an interesting gameplay experience. It's not so much for the challenge, it's more for the funny story, really cool scenery, unusual bosses on each level, although you do kind of go down the same route each time by running away from them and escaping. But it's just a fun little game. No real problems. There's 9 episodes or levels in full. Each episode ends with like a cutscene and the narrator talking over it. And they say, "I'll see you in the next episode," that kind of thing. There's 9 episodes. Each episode starts with an intro to the game, so you have to go through that again, which is fine. I've done 6 of the 9, although there's only footage of 5 because I forgot to press record on the last one, and I'm not doing it again. The last one I didn't get to show was the desert one, but there's 5 environments you'll see in this video, and I can only assume the remaining 3 that I've not done are going to be equally superb. But I feel like I'm at a point that I can review this game. I played it for 3 hours. That's ultimately what I'm here for. And my review is entirely positive. This is going to get a really, really high rating, and I recommend you give this a go. It's I got it with £1 off because it was just released, but it's going to go no higher than £10. Give this a go. Excellent little game. Quirky, unique, fun little story, good sense of humour. Not the most challenging. Lots of stuff remains the same in the game in terms of puzzle. No real puzzle, but it's just fun. It's relaxing. You're not going to get stressed. You just spend a weekend and a couple of hours doing this. You'll probably have it completed within about 5 hours, to be honest. But yeah, doesn't matter for that price, I would say. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.